Walk into any hospital right now. Cafeteria full of food. Thousands of people coming and going. Automatic doors opening every 30 seconds. And look around. Not one fly. Not one mosquito. Not one ant on any baseboard. A building that should be the most insect-infested structure in your city and nothing gets in. That is not an accident. That is a 4-layer system. And the first layer costs $1 per doorway and lasts 90 days. The compound behind it was discovered in a Persian flower garden around 400 BC, kept as a military trade secret for centuries, and is currently sitting on the shelf at your hardware store right now. The exterminators charging you $200 per visit know exactly what it is. They are counting on the fact that you do not. By the end of this video, you will know all 4 layers, exactly what each one costs, and how to recreate the same system that keeps a hospital insect-free on your own front door for under $10 total. But first, you need to understand the one thing that makes this entire system work. Because once you see it, the $200 exterminator visit starts looking like exactly what it is. Here is something most people have never consciously thought about. A hospital is the last building on Earth that can use heavy pesticide spray. There are newborn babies in open incubators. Patients on ventilators whose lungs cannot handle chemical exposure. Surgical wounds left open to the air during operations. The kind of insecticide you use in a shed would hurt the patients before it hurt a single cockroach. So hospitals had to find something different. Something that kills insects on contact, leaves no trace, causes no harm to humans, and costs almost nothing to maintain. And they found it not in a laboratory, but in a flower. Around 400 BC, Persian traders discovered that a specific type of white daisy, something that looks completely harmless, the kind of flower your grandmother plants along a garden fence, could kill lice, fleas, and crawling insects the moment they touched its dried petals. They ground the flower heads into a powder and sold it across the ancient world, but they never told anyone which plant it came from. The secret was too valuable. The flower was a chrysanthemum. National Geographic has called it the deadliest flower in the insect world. It is still commercially farmed today in the highlands above Kenya's Great Rift Valley. The compound inside its yellow center attacks an insect's nervous system the moment it makes contact. Think of it like a light switch that cannot be turned off. The moment the compound touches an insect, every muscle in its body fires simultaneously and does not stop. The insect is dead within minutes. The same compound touches human skin, and our liver breaks it down and clears it within hours. We feel nothing. The insect has no chance. By the mid-1800s, a Bavarian merchant named Johann Zachary had turned this ancient Persian secret into one of the first commercially sold insecticides in European history, shipping ground chrysanthemum powder from the Caucasus to drugstores across the continent. Then in the 1970s, chemists figured out how to synthesize the active compound in a laboratory. They called it permethrin. And the number that changed everything, permethrin is 2,250 times more toxic to insects than it is to humans. A single $10 bottle of concentrate makes enough solution to treat every doorway in a building for 3 months. The cost per door per day is pennies. Wait, stop right here. I need to ask you something directly. Have you ever called an exterminator for ants, flies, or mosquitoes getting into your home? Have you ever paid $150 to $300 for a visit, watched someone spray around your doors, and then dealt with the same problem again 6 weeks later? Have you ever wondered why they come back every quarter, never once solving the problem permanently? In 3 minutes, I am going to show you the exact 4-layer system hospitals use, what each layer costs, and the one specific layer that exterminators never once mentioned to a paying customer, because it would eliminate the reason to call them again. The exterminator industry in the United States generates $22 billion annually. The entire business model depends on recurring visits. A system you can maintain yourself for $10 per season is not a product that industry will ever voluntarily explain to you. But hospitals are not in the business of keeping insects coming back. They are in the business of making sure nothing gets in at all. And what they built to do that using 4 overlapping layers that each cost almost nothing is the most effective insect barrier system ever documented in a built environment. Here are all 4 layers. Every single one can be copied at home, and every single one has been hiding in plain sight. Layer 1 is permethrin concentrate. Mixed with water and sprayed along every door frame, every window edge, and along the foundation of a building 3 feet up the wall and 3 feet out from the base, it creates an invisible chemical barrier. Any insect that crawls across that treated surface absorbs the compound through its body and dies within hours. It does not smell. It does not stain. Once dry, it is completely invisible. One application lasts 90 days indoors and 30 days outdoors. A bottle of permethrin concentrate costs between $10 and $15 at any farm supply store and treats an entire home multiple times. The exact same compound is what hospital maintenance crews apply to every door frame on a rotating schedule. Not a mystery product, not a professional-grade chemical locked behind a license. A $10 bottle that anyone can buy today. The reason exterminators never lead with this is simple. A $10 bottle that lasts a full season is a one-time sale. A quarterly service contract at $200 per visit is $800 per year every year for as long as you keep calling. Layer 2 is air pressure. This one costs nothing because it uses the ventilation system that already exists. Hospitals pump slightly more air into the building than they pull out. So the air inside is always pressing outward through every doorway, every crack, every gap around a threshold. When any door opens, the building exhales. Air flows out, not in. Think of it like trying to walk into a river that is flowing directly toward you. A fly-producing thrust, smaller than the weight of a single grain of rice physically, cannot push into that outward airflow. The building breathes out continuously. Insects trying to enter are swimming against a current they cannot even detect. At home, you cannot pressurize your entire house the way a hospital does, but you can create a version of this effect at every door with one $3 to $5 addition, a nylon brush door sweep. Not vinyl. Vinyl cracks in the sun and rodents chew through it within a season. A nylon brush sweep mounted to the bottom of every exterior door seals the gap where insects walk in at ground level, the same threshold the permethrin is protecting from above. 2 layers now working together at the same entry point. Layer 3 is the one nobody talks about, and it is free. Hospital floors are mopped multiple times per day with a standard hospital-grade disinfectant. The EPA classifies these compounds as antimicrobial pesticides, meaning they kill bacteria, viruses, fungi, and insects. Every time a janitor mops across a hospital doorway threshold, they are laying down a chemical barrier that was never designed for pest control. The floor cleaner is accidentally killing insects. The person holding the mop does not even know it. At home, any household cleaner with benzalkonium chloride listed on the label wiped across your door threshold during regular cleaning creates the same accidental barrier. Most people already own a cleaner with this compound. They are one wipe away from an additional layer of protection and have never once been told. Layer 4 is light, and this is the layer the exterminator industry hopes you never figure out because it eliminates one of the most common reasons people call them in the first place. Insects navigate by ultraviolet and blue light wavelengths. A standard porch bulb is broadcasting on exactly the frequency that pulls every moth, mosquito, and flying insect within 100 meters directly to your door. Hospitals replaced every entrance light with warm spectrum LED bulbs 2,700 Kelvin or lower that produce almost zero UV output. A published study comparing different bulb types found that warm white LEDs attracted fewer insects than even the yellow bug lights sold specifically for that purpose. To an insect, a hospital entrance at night is essentially invisible. There is no signal. There is nothing to navigate toward. A warm white LED bulb costs $2 to $3. One swap at your front entrance, and you have removed the single biggest reason flying insects gather at your door after dark. Now, here is where it gets disturbing, and where the exterminator industry's actual weakness lives. Because there is one creature that none of these 4 layers stops. And understanding why reveals the single biggest flaw in the entire $22 billion pest control model. The pharaoh ant is 2 millimeters long, barely visible to the naked eye. It does not use the door. It lives inside the walls, traveling through electrical conduits, plumbing pipes, and gaps between wall panels. A 1,972 study published in The Lancet found pharaoh ants carrying salmonella, staph, and strep bacteria across 9 hospitals. They have been found inside IV bags, inside surgical wound dressings, on the skin of premature infants, and when a hospital tries to spray them with standard insecticide, the colony does not die, it splits. 1 colony becomes 5. 5 become 20. The wrong treatment makes the infestation exponentially worse. The exterminator's standard response to an ant problem is a spray can aimed at the ants they can see, which is exactly the treatment that makes pharaoh ants multiply. The industry's go-to solution actively worsens the specific pest most likely to survive everything else. That is not incompetence. That is a recurring revenue mechanism. Here is exactly how to build all 4 layers at your own front door starting today for under $10 total. Step 1. Buy permethrin concentrate. Look for 10% permethrin concentrate at any farm supply store, Tractor Supply, Rural King, or online. Brands like Martin's Permethrin or Sawyer Permethrin Concentrate both work. Mix 1 part concentrate with 9 parts water in a standard garden pump sprayer. Spray along every exterior door frame, every window frame, and along your foundation, 3 feet up from the ground and 3 feet outward from the base. Let it dry completely before anyone or any pet walks through. Important: keep cats away from treated surfaces until fully dry. Permethrin is highly toxic to cats specifically. Once dry, it is safe. This single step eliminates the crawling insect problem at every entry point for 90 days. Step 2. Install nylon brush door sweeps on every exterior door. The brush seals the gap at ground level where insects walk in directly. This is the physical version of the hospital's air pressure barrier. Combined with the permethrin on the door frame above it, you have just created a complete chemical and physical seal at the same entry point. Step 3. Replace your porch bulb with a warm white LED 2000, 700 Kelvin or lower. This is available at any hardware store for $2 to $3. From this night forward, your entrance is essentially invisible to flying insects after dark. No UV signal, no navigation beacon, nothing to fly toward. Now, before the final step, I need to stop here, because there is something most people never hear about even after learning the first 3 layers. And it is the part that makes this system work even when something does get past everything else. Hospitals do not just keep insects out of their entrances. They place UV insect light traps disguised as regular wall sconces in back hallways and loading docks deep inside the building. These traps use the exact UV wavelength that the entrance lighting was designed to suppress. They run 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, silently pulling any insect that slipped through all 4 exterior layers toward a sticky glue board up to 30 feet away. The entrance has nothing a bug wants. The trap inside has exactly what it is looking for. At home, this becomes your layer 4. A UV insect trap, the kind that looks like a simple plug-in nightlight placed in your kitchen or utility room, creates the same interior capture system hospitals rely on as their final backstop. Any flying insect that made it past your treated door frames, your brush sweep, and your dark entrance is now navigating toward the one UV source in your home, your trap, instead of toward your food, your face, or your pet's water bowl. These plug-in traps cost between $15 and $25. They are the one purchase in this entire system that the pest control industry would prefer you buy from them at a significant markup rather than discover at a hardware store for $18. 4 layers. Total cost for a standard home under $35 for the first full setup, under $10 per season after that for permethrin replenishment. One exterminator visit costs $150 to $300 and addresses 1 layer usually incompletely while leaving the other 3 entirely untouched. We are almost at the end, but the part I have not told you yet changes how you see the entire pest control industry. This is not just about keeping bugs out of your home. It is about what happens when 4 $2 solutions stacked on top of each other outperform a $22 billion service industry, and nobody in that industry ever volunteers to explain why. The hospital built a system. The exterminator sold you a visit. Those are not the same thing. One is designed to solve the problem permanently. The other is designed to manage it indefinitely. The Persian traders who discovered the chrysanthemum compound in 400 BC were not scientists. They were merchants who paid close attention to what actually worked and protected that knowledge because it was too valuable to give away. The exterminator industry did the same thing, except in reverse. They took knowledge that was always yours, wrapped it in a service contract, and charged you quarterly for access to something you could maintain yourself for $10 a season. Tell me in the comments, how much have you spent on pest control visits in the last year? And did the problem come back within 2 months? I want to know how many people are inside that cycle right now. If this channel is showing you what the pest control industry keeps off the label, subscribe. No service contracts, no quarterly visits. Just the 4 layers they built the cleanest buildings in the world around. This system has been running in hospitals since before most of us were born. The only question is whether you are going to use it or keep calling the number on the magnet on your fridge.